everybody, and welcome to Rise of the Podcast. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Kara.
I'm tired and also brownie.
Woo! So I know why Chris is tired.
I think we're all tired.
Kara, that's a nice shirt you got there.
Well, thanks. I made it. Well, I made the design.
It's pretty awesome. So we just got back.
Jeremy, you've got a nice shirt too.
Oh, thank you very much.
Now,
Now that I see it, no, I'm just kidding.
I would give mad props to anybody who can correctly identify what that creature is.
Comment below what you think this creature is.
Yes.
Let us
and
know.
what you think this creature is.
Ooh, they're unique creatures to a convention that we just finished up tonight.
Like a couple hours ago.
Literally.
Yes.
We just got back from cleaning up the building.
I know you guys are watching this on a Monday morning, but it is a late Saturday night
It's a late
when
Saturday
we're recording
night.
this.
I'll tell you what. I have gotten 6 hours of sleep in the past, 36 hours, 40 hours, something like that. I'm tired. I've been living off of coffee and a lot of caffeine. lately.
So much coffee. I literally have a Starbucks 20-person jug of coffee out in the car.
Oh,
car.
wait,
I'm
we
gonna,
still have
chug-
another one?
I saved one. Yep,
Yes,
for tomorrow.
queen.
But anyways, so let's just talk about DuluCon, everybody. We have some
Yeah,
stories to talk
P.S.
about.
That is what we were talking about.
Oh,
DuluCon.
yeah, the long tease. DuluCon
right?
2019.
Woohoo, DuluCon 2019. So I want to start off with maybe just like a minute of history, and then we'll walk into some stories and how everything went. But
We're going to walk into some stories, people.
In terms of where do you want to put the attendance thing in? Because that's something that I think is a really cool. Do you want to we'll, at the end of the history thing? We'll sort of slap that. I just didn't want to accidentally cut off the. This is a cluster. Sorry, guys. Go ahead, Jeremy.
all right. So no, DuluCon 2019. It was literally started by just the Dulu Council, we'll say, which consists of Amy, Phil, Bill, Mimi, Josh, Kara, myself, and a lot of other people.
And not Brownie.
and not Brownie. Brownie had its own role in DuluCon, but
And we'll get to that.
the
'Cause it
Dulu
was
Council
awesome.
just got together. We were a group of friends, and we just really wanted an awesome convention for people to show off cosplays and get to know each other and like just
game culture, anything
culture.
like the type of stuff you expect at these type of at a convention. That's just sort of missing from the region.
Yeah.
And we were trying to pull it. We were trying to pull it together last year, and
Yep.
we decided we wanted to wait one more year to make sure we could make it the best con that we possibly could. None of us have ever done anything like this before,
No. Goodness, no.
and so yeah, it exploded into something bigger than I ever could have imagined. It was absolutely crazy. Me personally, I was expecting like maybe around 150 to 200 people to show up.
That was generous. I
was
was
in the
75 to
100.
100.
I was in the 100 range, and so I don't know why I kept thinking that the max capacity was 300. So in my mind, it's like, wow, if we hit capacity, if we hit 300 people, that'd be ridiculous. And then Jeremy, you kept correcting me and telling me it was 500.
Yeah.
And for some reason, my brain just never made that connection. But it still was like, I was like, man, so even with capacity being 500,
Yes.
300 people would be tremendous. The original RTX of a thing that we hold near and dear to our hearts.
Yes.
I would like to go to this, actually.
Was
Thank
around
you.
300 something people. RTX 1 was
Wait,
around.
so...
Yeah, our first con did bigger than.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So it's funny.
What was the final number? Sorry,
We
before
sold
you-
out.
We sold out.
We sold out, which was 500.
It was funny. I wrote on our group chat and I said something about, oh my gosh, I can't believe we have like over 300 sales. And Amy wrote back and she was like, okay, everybody, don't freak out. But we have actually sold 499 tickets. And after she did that, I sold like 10 more tickets. I was like, dang! So don't tell the fire marshal. But we had overcapacity.
Well,
I
people
doubt-
leave
At the
it-
same time, yeah.
People
This is
come and
true.
go. The event was absolutely awesome. We had an excellent turnout the first night. We had people out there. We did like a dance and a cosplay,
Karaoke.
like parade and karaoke.
Or karaoke, however you actually pronounce it.
Karaoke.
Are you okay, karaoke?
But we had so many great costumes, so many great connections.
Well, what blew me away, so we did the karaoke, right? And so a lot of times when you think of the nerd community, you think like really shy, really like, ooh, not gonna do anything to bring attention to myself. Our karaoke sign-up list maxed out. Like I was gonna do a song and I was like, people kept coming up, so I was like, okay, just keep bumping myself on down, bumper down, bumper down. I didn't even do a song.
So-
People just kept coming in, and we had to like force it to make them all fit.
I feel like that's a sign that like if you can make people comfortable enough to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, that you put forth an environment where they're like, this is where I can actually go and it, like, you know, be myself, enjoy the
Right.
things that I enjoy,
Right.
you know, just like geek out.
Yeah. So Chris, you weren't there you weren't there last night, right?
I wasn't there when the thing started. I was there setting up the green screen.
You know you've made it when my favorite comment from the very first night was I heard a guy and I was walking by him and he goes, yeah, I'm calling in sick to work tomorrow so I can come. So yeah, for you who called in sick, hopefully you still have your job, but we also hope you had a really good time.
That's awesome.
So I was like,
It
yeah,
was so good.
We've done it.
So we did a cosplay masquerade competition, and we had everybody walk through, and we did the People's Choice Award. So as everybody came up and introduced themselves, we would allow everybody to cheer. And so we finally got to the last person, and it was a guy in a T-Rex costume, and, right?
Okay.
And he's got this great ball.
Oh, this is hilarious.
And he gets up on stage, and he turns towards me, and he takes the great ball that he's holding, and he like hands it out to me, and I was like, do you want to be my Charmander?
And you know he does a big overemphasized nod. To the
That's
T-Rex
awesome.
And
costume.
well, it was funny because it was perfectly set up because as he did it, the jaws of the head of the thing kept going over my head.
It was really
So
everyone
great.
laughed.
Yeah,
That was
everybody
really
liked
awesome.
that.
It was a really good time. So that
It
was incredible.
Good. But we ended it's the People's Choice cosplay winners. There were 4 people. There were 3 little kids and then 1 adult. And there was a little girl. So she came in, and I was like, "Oh, I love your Sailor Moon." She looked at me. She's like, "And so what?" She's like, "I'm Toga." I was like, I looked at her dad. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." I was like,
The biggest faux pas you could have had.
right? Well, here's I got a story about that. It's kind of funny. And her dad was like, "Don't worry." He was like, "The only way you could have told the difference between Sailor Moon and Toga was if you saw her vampire fangs. That's the only difference between Toga and Sailor Moon."
Okay.
So
I'm still
I
learning
wasn't
stuff.
wrong.
Yeah, there's
So
sort of a related thing to that. There's at one of the panels that I was at. Well, I'll talk more about it later. But like, there's a part where you could like shout out like suggestions for like types of characters, and people are mentioning stuff like from things that I've never heard of. You know, like that's like one of the cool things. Is like there's so much stuff, and it's like you think you're like tacitly aware of most of the big things, and there's stuff that just. There's so much stuff, and people, and all of a sudden, it like was like devolving into people be like, no, it's like if you do blah blah, and it's like it was this really fun like interactive thing, and
That's
like
awesome.
and people talking about these characters is like, man, I don't know enough about anything.
okay, when it comes to the anime realm, I think I know Sailor Moon, and now after the
One Punch
cosplay-
Man. Saitama.
Saitama, after watching that, but so and then Dio Brando.
Yes.
We've got to do the Ghibli films,
Oh, I love the Ghibli films.
so go
I've
through
never
all those.
seen
yeah.
those.
So
yeah, you
yeah,
have. You have. You've seen The Cat Returns.
Oh, those are Ghibli.
yep.
Yeah, that one is.
Okay, hold the phone now. The ones you lent to Mimi and Josh, what's that style?
That's still the same thing. That's also Studio Ghibli. Same guy.
What style is it though?
Anime.
But it's anime.
It's
but-
anime. I
But
thought
yeah,
there was
it's like a particular. It's like if you say Disney, it's animation, but it's Disney animation. So it's
Yeah.
animation, it's anime,
Okay.
but it's Studio
Studio
Ghibli.
Ghibli.
Isn't there something that's very similar to anime, but it's technically different?
Oh gosh, I don't
no,
know.
all right,
This is where
Hit
the
the
internet.
brakes.
Yes,
Hit the brakes.
this is where the internet destroys us.
Rewind.
Because there's
So-
manga, there's
Okay.
anime, there's all these different
So what
types
we're
of
gonna say
anime.
is somebody who knows more than us. Please take the time to write a comment below, setting forth all the parameters for these differences, so we don't look like fools. We just
Okay.
like them. We're not scholars.
Okay, so back to my story.
Yeah, sorry.
Just a hard cut back to my story. So the little girl, she was like, "I'm Toga," and like, she was then my buddy all night.
It was really
I
cute.
mean, she was super cute. Name's
She was one of the
Adeline.
last karaoke singers.
She
Oh,
did,
awesome.
Yeah.
She did "A Million Dreams" from The Greatest Showman. That's what it was. And she rocked it. She rocked it out of the park. She was like, "Yeah, I sang that for 5th grade graduation last year." I was
That's
like,
so cool.
Because you pointed her out, I wouldn't have even guessed that she was that old.
No, seriously, me either.
Oh.
I was like, you gotta be like 7.
Yeah.
You know?
I had an awesome experience with the VR. I want to talk about the general activities we had planned today and each room and different things, but I had somebody come up and people were talking, waiting in line for the VR that I was running. And I heard some people were from Cloquet. So I was sitting there shooting the breeze with them, and one girl was like, "What grade do you think I'm in?" Not to me, to her friend or this person. She's like, "I don't know, 12th grade." And she's like, "Nope, I'm in 9th grade." And then she's like, "What grade do you think I'm in?" And the girl's like, "I don't know, 7th grade." And she's like, "Nope, 11th." And I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Like it was crazy to see that. You know, it's so hard to tell with everybody. But we had such
what
a
grade am
wide-
I in? Oh, sir. You'll have to leave the room.
Well, it was embarrassing for me to say. I'm like, "Oh, I graduated from OK," and they're like, "What year?" I'm like, a long time ago.
Hold on. Somebody's a freshman before they were born.
Yes, that's crazy.
Legitimately.
That is absolutely crazy.
Ooh.
You're like, I literally graduated high school before you were born.
How
That's
gross is that?
old age.
But anyway, so yeah, the general convention itself. So we had the Masquerade, or like the cosplay and stuff Friday night.
Togo won People's Choice. P.S. She was pretty great.
It was between her and the astronaut, which was also awesome. It was
Yeah.
really nice to see people support the younger costumers.
Yeah,
and
it
stuff like
gives
that.
them the encouragement to continue on and be themselves. You know.
So anyways, so then the day of, Bill did a fantastic job doing all the Facebook promotions. So a lot
Oh
of the
my
stuff
gosh,
you see.
Bill, he is the social media guy.
He is
Oh
a social
my
media
goodness,
guy.
like-
His posters that he selected for the lead up to the event, he had down to 3, 2, 1, and then he even did the 6 seconds or whatever before the convention started
Yeah.
to lead into it. But so when you got there today, we had a whole row of vendors, we had a whole row of artists. It was
Which
super
were
cool.
awesome, by
It was
the way.
so
Yeah.
cool to see all the artists and everything like that. It was really fun for me. I'm sorry, Keith, to see Keith nerd out or get really excited over rare Batman comics.
Yeah.
He was giddy.
Did Toy Galaxy have
Yes.
those?
He's like, they had Keith came up to me. He's like, they've got this edition Batman, this edition Spider-Man, this edition this. He's like, that's a $5,000 comic book. Oh, he's like, to even see it, he thought it was super cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
He had a blast.
Yeah.
today.
Good.
And then, so we did. I ran VR, and what was really fun for me, I was book solid all day.
Yeah, you were.
I shut down for 15 minutes and 20 minutes
To kind of give everything
total
a little rest.
to charge it up and to get it going again. Because the Vive handset is rechargeable, not batteries. And so I was booked all day. I had some. Thank you for the volunteers that were helping me do that. It was a tremendous experience. 85 to 90% of people have never even had a VR headset on. So for them to be able to come in and try VR, I feel so bad because there's so much to VR that I can't sum it up in one Beat Saber song of what I want people to experience. But I have to tone it back.
But you
to-
give them a little bit of that,
Yeah.
the immersion that you get when you're in.
Now,
Right.
how sick of that song were you by the end of the day?
Oh my goodness. It was I was fine with the song, but people were actually dancing to that song in particular. And then it was it would play again and they're like, oh, because they would walk by and then
That's
kind of jam
funny.
to it and everything, but yeah, they wouldn't keep doing it. So we had that. We had a full day of panels. We had 2 rooms full of panels. I cannot believe how many people we had want to do and present. And Chris
Keith
had
and Chris
awesome
did one.
and an awesome panel.
And they were booked back to back to back to back too.
Yeah, they
so
were.
it's like
it was like a 10-minute flip and then another.
Yeah, and it was a lot of times people were just starting to get into Q&A stuff, and they'd be like, "Okay, you got to move it out out of the floor because we got to get the next people in here." In my mind, I thought it was we'll probably have some gaps because of who knows how many people want to actually present, but it was. I never even made it up into the second presentation room because everything that was in room 1 was so interesting.
Well, it was we had that problem at RTX, Chris. Overlapping panels, we couldn't go to all the ones that we wanted to go to, and I can't believe we had that same issue at DuluCon.
Yeah.
I couldn't go to a single one.
Yeah.
I did sit in for most of Chris and Keith, so I was like, I know it's coming. And then I was like, right when you started to show the ATST Lego build, I had to scoot out because I was kind of in charge of doing a lot of the announcements, hey, panel, this coming up. Hey, these people are doing this at this point. And then otherwise, I'd kind of went around, mingled, made sure all the vendors had what they needed, just kind of had fun with just the people that came and made them feel special. And I was dressed as Ahsoka. Obviously, I mean,
Stopped for photos all the time.
well, I think I only took 10 or 15 pictures.
Only.
And it was one of the groups that you reached out to. So we had artists and vendors, and we had a couple of groups. So we
Yep.
were represented by Vival First and the Rebel Legion were both there.
That was
Yeah.
awesome.
That
we
was
learned
sick Phasma.
That
Oh
was
my goodness,
Phasma.
yes.
epic. It was
and
so
she was
good.
like the
Battle worn.
the one Finn just,
Yeah.
right Okay.
Super, super good. And she introduced us to Minnesota Force, which is a Minnesota Star Wars group.
Yep.
So now, and then what's really nice is they want people to like costume and troop. Kara mentioned like maybe going and visit like kids and stuff like that. And so they have a partnership with a couple of hospitals down in
Well,
Minneapolis,
there's a
St. Paul.
specific group called Cosplayers with a Cause.
Yes.
I think it is. And they specifically go to children's hospitals. They have like a contract, not a contract with them, but they have a thing with them. And then they also around Halloween will donate costumes.
Yes, they have a
to-
costume drive.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought that was the
Yep.
coolest thing.
So it's super cute. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to be a part of this like right now.
Well, that's like one of the panels that I was in. Actually, I'm gonna look. I set the card down here. Now I'm gonna stall for time because I'm gonna find it. Oh my goodness.
So now you're just making it worse.
Oh no! It's way down here. I got it. Okay. So it was the Stellar Kingdom of North Shield.
What's that?
So it was the anachronistic reenactment people.
The
They were cool
Creative
too.
Anachronism, Society of
yeah.
Creative
Oh
Anachronism.
yeah,
So-
way to throw me under the bus. I read that one off and totally
Jeremy was.
butchered it.
I
Anchorism.
had said anachronism like 5 million times. Jeremy goes up to do an announcement. Next up, we go the Society of Creative Anchorism.
We just know that Jeremy and pronunciation don't really
No.
Yes.
don't really lock in.
Mesh.
We
There's a whole
literally did a
episode
whole
about that.
podcast about it. Yeah. Yeah, right there. You can go and check it out. Bill's on that one.
Yes, he is.
Oh yes, yeah.
Words are hard.
But so they did and they were talking about, like if you wanted to be a member and stuff like that. And there's a large proportion of what they do is volunteer work.
Yeah.
And stuff. And it was really interesting, just like and to see how much work goes into what they do and how they try and like set it up so there's like a reward and tier system for how much you're involved, and like you don't need to join, you can still just go to the meetings and like learn stuff, or you can join, and then if you do like what the expectation level is given whatever blah blah blah. It's really, really interesting. So I think it's worth checking them out if you're into like anything from like pseudo steampunk to medieval to whatever.
Yeah.
It's just sort of like I think what it says on their website is like it's the past, but how we like it.
Yeah, that's so cool.
It's cool. Well, so I was talking to the drummer guy, Mahir, and so they did their presentation up on stage. But then Mahir came up and he asked for a picture with me, and so I was talking with him, and I was like, so if somebody wanted to come and spectate, right? Can they come dressed up? And he was like, yeah. He said that we basically have 3 rules. 1, you follow the laws, the federal and state laws of the land. Mm-hmm. 2, you come dressed up in period costume. And 3, you act like you're from that period. So I was like, yes.
This is like right up Kara's alley.
That is right up Kara's
So
alley.
he was also telling me there's events. There's an event out on the East Coast for the Society of Creative Anachronism. And he said a small, like, low attendance year is no less than 10,000 people.
Ooh.
I gotta brag on them for a second too. So they were the ones doing the live action combat stuff.
Yep.
Too quick. So we had all the panels, all that other stuff. So I think it was Josh worked with the Saber Union.
Saber Legion.
Saber Legion. So we had like live saber fighting. Josh, awesome job getting those guys lined up.
It was really cool.
And I don't know who brought in the creative group.
Society of I think they actually
Reached out to us?
I think so.
Awesome demonstration on stage.
It
so
was.
while
It
we
was so
had
good.
all this other stuff going on, we had the stage reserved for different types of acts and shows, which are absolutely incredible. But one of the ladies who was in the sword fight, like on stage, she came down and she did VR. So she had like her costume and her period piece on and everything. And that was kind of fun. And,
I wish I would have gotten a picture of that. That would have been pretty cool.
oh, it was super cool. And so here's what was fun for me. A lot of people were on easy and normal. A lot. And they were doing really well. And so I was like, have you ever done VR before? Nope. How does it work? I went through everything. And I said, what difficulty do you think? She's like, I'm expert at DDR. I was like, let's see you tried hard. She crushed it.
I'm not.
She's like,
Well, I joked with her like right before she went, and I was like, if you can do this as good as you swing a sword, you're going to be fine.
she was awesome too. She's like, swinging a sword is a lot different than a lightsaber.
So, and then there's an event that they hold in Eau Claire, and the guy said this one is awesome. So basically, there's 2 sides, and it's like a clash, and there's 2,000 people at least on each side.
Whoa,
Oh my
dang.
goodness.
And he said that basically it's like Braveheart. They just charge at each other. He said there's so many people running, you literally can feel the earth shaking.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I was like, what?
You gotta check
Claire's-
that out.
Seriously, Eau Claire's not that far, guys.
It's
Come
not
on.
really.
No,
It's
it's
a
not.
5-hour drive about.
I mean, I'm totes for that. He said it's in July, so I'm super, super wanting to go.
All right.
So, but I think their section is Shire of the Inland Lake, Inland Sea.
Something like that. Yeah.
Shire of the
It was
Inland Sea.
all explained, and it's just like you figured it out online.
They were a super cool group of people. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they want to come next year to DuluCon.
What I love is I made a lot of like new connections
Yep.
today, and it was so much fun to just meet these people. I'm still blown away by the number of people that came dressed up,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. It was like I want to say it was at least like 15%.
at least. And I talked to a guy, and he said that he loved it so much, and he goes, "I've been to Halloween parties where people don't dress up this much, where the whole theme is to dress up." And so he's like, "This is just awesome."
It
and like,
is.
Again, with the age range, we had everybody from kids, teenagers, young adults, and just even older people. Everybody was dressed up. It was
Yep.
crazy with good costumes, fantastic
Yep.
detail, and
Yep.
people handmade stuff. I saw a Portal, like someone was from the Portal video game, steampunk, Iron Man, just so many cool
Yeah.
costumes.
It was. I'm very pleased with how DuluCon ended up.
Yeah, my like just because you never know when it's the first of something that you do.
Right.
Very, very reserved in my mind. It's like if 30 people show up, I'm not going to call this a failure.
No,
Right.
We were okay with that. Going into this, we're like, nice soft launch, something manageable, and that was my biggest concern was, so we wanted there to be enough for people to do. And the thing is, it's like, so if we would have planned big and not had a lot of people show up, it's going to be, like
Egg on your face.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
And we don't want to plan for small and have a lot of people show up.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was like we tried to grow as interest grew and keep it balanced. And it was like, so then we just had to go full throttle at the end.
Yeah,
And-
I think there was like the right. I was sort of commenting about this too, where it's like it was never like too crowded. In there.
Right.
No, but it was definitely like you got the
Full.
sense the entire day.
Yeah.
Yep,
that it
up
was full.
until probably like 5, I'd say it started to thin out just a little
a
bit.
little bit.
So I went into the last panel that I was going to watch at 5, and there was a big difference between the beginning, like going in when it was still pretty busy, and coming out and it was starting to like people were like, okay, it's the end of the day stuff.
Right.
Yep.
Anyway, so then one last activity I wanted to talk about too. So we had the VR. We had a lot of like custom cool merch and stuff like that, like this awesome hand painted lightsaber.
Yes.
So cool. I was running around not hitting people with it, but wanting to. but for fun. Like challenge me to a lightsaber fight.
One of Bill's daughters went through and she painted a bunch of dowels and pencils
Well,
and chopsticks for your hair and
Funny story about that. She wanted to make them so bad. She started with cardboard tubes.
Yeah.
So Bill's like, you got to make them solid. Like
Yeah.
this is so much cooler,
Yep.
And it is fun. So I'm either gonna either we'll put it on display here. I might even take it to work.
oh yeah, there you go.
Cool.
Yeah, and use it as my subordinate.
Man, Masters Nerd.
Derek, I'm coming for you.
Man.
But so Bill ran an escape room, and we got to try it. I'm very sad that I didn't get to do the escape room finished.
Right, full
We
through.
got to do a time test to run through and gauge the time, how long it was going to take. And we did rooms 1 and 2, but we didn't get to do the final room and really
Right.
experience the whole thing. But
Now, if they didn't have me in their group, they'd still be on room 2.
you're so funny. So Bill and I were going to do VR together, and Bill also set up Diamond Dash and like a Redstone Dash in case you didn't find diamonds. So we had a high score for fastest Redstone find and a high score for fastest Diamond find. High score for excuse me.
The fastest time.
The fastest Redstone time was a little over 5 minutes, but the fastest Diamond time was 7.5 minutes.
Dang.
Which is
I mean-
crazy. I did a test run at home, and my best time was 22
Okay.
minutes.
That's nothing. I tried twice. Played 45 minutes each map. You know how many diamonds I found? A big old fat 0.
But what's funny now is if you're just playing for like world building and starting a game to play, you'll probably find diamond.
Right. It'll be like, here I am. And I'll be like,
But yeah, to do the actual race. And I feel really bad because we're just having we did not have that many technical issues or technical difficulties, minus just the Xboxes in that section. There was just too much power draw for the distance.
Oh,
of the
you know
extension
what?
cords.
Yeah, people were kicking the extension cord out of the wall.
Yeah.
was
really?
the big thing. It came out like 2 or 3 times when I was standing there.
Yeah, and
that
so it
makes
was like,
sense,
and I'm really
okay.
glad it didn't. It did not happen to VR because if those sensors for the Vive get moved or unplugged at all, you have to recalibrate the whole system.
Ooh, yeah.
Because that's how
good.
it knows where the room tracking is.
Yeah.
So
But,
it held up the entire time.
Better power cable management going into next year for sure. Like you were saying, gaff tape.
Absolutely gaff tape, getting everything tied down.
I think
but-
they did everything right this year with like painter's tape, and I was like,
Which for the most part seemed like it worked all right, but there was like that corner where Jeremy was set up was a pretty high traffic area.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, and Jeremy, so we get there and we set up, and Jeremy's like, this plug isn't grounded.
Oh, if you ever want to feel something crazy, try
And
touching a piece of metal.
Yeah,
that's not
Jeremy
grounded.
was like, "Come feel this," and I'm like, "I don't want to get shocked. You kidding me?" And he's like, "No, come feel it." And I grabbed onto the bar, and it was vibrating. It was like
Dang.
weird. I was like, "Woo!"
Because that's where the resistance has to go to.
Yeah, and so if you touch like that and then a piece of metal, you could get whatever. But I found a grounded plug. I just wasn't the right one, so I found the
Okay.
right proper one.
"That's insane."
So it was crazy.
But so we the panelists, we had T. Aaron Cisco.
Yep. He did 2, I
he-
believe.
3.
3. Dang.
3.
Legend.
Yeah.
I went to 2 of them.
Yeah, so he did 3, but we had a couple of the news stations come in. First, Fox 21, who interviewed me, and then so Chris and Keith work for KBJR, one of the local stations here. And after their podcast, I was like, why isn't KBJR here?
You can't get scooped, Chris.
Yeah.
Like, what? So, like, that second, Keith gets on the phone to the newsroom, like, get down here. So, what, probably an hour later, KBJR is down at DuluCon doing
Yeah.
a little news on us. So, they interviewed Tierra and Cisco, and it was actually quite flattering. He said that he's been to many cons, and we are in the top 3 for most organized.
Dang. That's
I was
awesome.
like, I told Amy that, and Amy was like, "Yeah, that's because none of us are having fun." So like everybody else is having a great time, and we're running around like chickens with their heads cut off, trying to make sure everybody's
Well,
having a good time.
We wanted to do this con because we wanted one in Duluth to have fun at. And
Right.
It's like, we were like, you can't have. It's hard to have fun when you're like running around trying to keep all the fires down or whatever.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Term
Well, it's
speech,
like at our
but-
wedding, there was some mess up with the seating plans or something. So Jeremy didn't tell me until after the wedding.
We're watching Band of Brothers, and one of the best quotes in the beginning of that TV show is,
No, that was a quote from the National World War II Museum.
"Oh, was it?
Yep.
Okay, it was in the National World War II Museum. It said, go ahead."
It's like plans are everything up until they have to be executed, more or less.
Okay.
And
And
then
then
they're
they're
nothing,
nothing.
Yeah.
because it was like D-Day more or less, and so it was like that's what Kara felt like today. We're like, oh, we plan, and then
Yep.
day happens and it's like, I don't have a plan for that. I don't have a plan for that.
Right.
Let's just fix it. And so that's what I was gonna say earlier about the Diamond Dash. So Bill had planned the Diamond Dash. He was gonna assist with VR and escape room. The problem is the escape room was booked solid.
Yep.
Completely
Booked
solid.
Yeah, he said like for the first hour there were only a couple of people who went through it, and then around 11 or
I think
10:30 or
probably
11,
when I actually made the announcement for it.
he had a couple of people sign up and he went through and he did when he came back out and the thing was full. The sign up sheet was totally full, and he's like,
Poor Bill, we got to like probably 4 o'clock, and I walk up to him. I'm like, "How are you doing, Bill?" He's like, "I could really use something to drink." He poor guy, he's just sweating. I mean,
It
he's
was
been
warm in
just
there
going.
today,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah, it was
warm.
hot.
It was warm.
So I ran. I got him a Claire Brune sparkly water, and I was like, "Here you go."
nice.
I did like how that turned out too. I thought the queuing system ended up pretty well. So we were able to like alleviate a lot of people having to actually stand in a line. So for VR, I gave out a 5-minute time slots, wasn't quite enough time. So I gave people come up, they said they want to try it. I just give them a 10-minute window where they can come back and do it.
So I think what we should probably do next year. I know this is planning on. Sorry, actually type out number cards so you can just.
Well, I was thinking like what we got when we
Or
did the
time
Millennium
cards.
Falcon,
Right,
Something like that,
exactly.
where it's like you just have like four different colored things or whatever,
Right.
And then they just cycle through. So you just hand them the thing, and then you just know the order. So it's like, hey, whoever's got the blue wand, whatever.
And then Bill did the same thing though. Like you sign down and then that your time he had time slots all printed, and then he had the sign up sheet or whatever, and you could just
Yep.
boom, 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 boom,
Yep.
and stuff like that. So it was really cool, and I know that made it a lot easier for people. And you can go around and enjoy the con, but not stand in line, but still get to participate in events.
Yeah.
Which was really awesome, really totally cool.
It was so
the
good.
the photo wall was extremely busy. Both last night, like the red carpet and the
Yeah,
photo
the red
wall
carpet.
was extremely
Yep.
busy. I loved being able to, like last night we got done and it was midnight, 12:30, and
We
I'm
got home
laying-
at 1.
Yeah, I'm laying in bed looking on Instagram, and it was really fun to review all the hashtags for the
Yeah.
day or whatever. Well, the hashtag for the day, and to see the pictures and stuff like that.
DuluCon 2019. 2019, if you want to look. I suddenly have hiccups. I'm sorry.
This is Jeremy's fault.
It
It is
is
my
Jeremy's
fault,
fault.
yeah.
Somebody scare me.
Yeah, whoa.
Just look at Jeremy.
DuluCon failed.
She said scary, not terrible.
Right? No, it was so good. I'm just I can't say it enough. I cannot believe it ended up as well as it did.
We just gotta hope that it doesn't go next year.
No, I think it's gonna be really solid. We have a great foundation to build
We
upon
do.
now. We have enough of a
So much good feedback. I had so many people come up to me and say, "Are you guys doing this next year? Are you doing?"
I can't believe you guys announced dates this year already.
Yeah, we wanted to try to ensure people there to come, that there was something to look
Yeah.
forward to and come back. And that was another thing. People came later on in the day,
Mm-hmm.
and because of that queuing system, they might have missed like an escape room booking.
Yep.
So they're like, okay, I'm gonna come earlier next year. I'm gonna come earlier. I'm gonna
Yep.
do it. And so if we kind of get that established, now we've got the way that we
Mm-hmm.
do things, and people will come to learn and
Yeah.
experience.
Well, yeah. And then
different
like you said, like on your guys' side too, it's like you learn like what you're gonna change to make it more effective next year too. Because
Right.
like people may not have noticed that something wasn't working properly, but
Right.
you guys might have.
Right.
And
Right.
you can create a better experience for them. Actually, so one of those things. One of the only sort of I don't want to say negative things, but one of the things that kind of bummed me out was the AV system interaction for presenters.
Yep.
Right.
It wasn't until 3:00 that someone actually had sound coming out of the laptop over the PA.
Really?
So like when Keith and I were doing our presentation, I was holding the microphone up to the projector.
How crazy.
So people could hear it. So
I felt so bad. And then like you guys were in a room that had windows. And so when
Yeah.
you're trying to show your movie from the projector, it
Yeah.
was like you could barely
it was really
see it.
washed out. And then
Yeah.
so the next person after us, they blocked out the windows.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
So it was one of those things like we were kind of like, 12:20. They'll have worked out all the kinks by the time we go. And it was like the last 4 presenters had pretty good setups.
If we had had more volunteers, I don't
Yeah.
think we had any volunteers except for a couple of our friends. So it was
So,
like the core
yeah.
group and then like 2 or 3 volunteers.
Well, we're going to be posting much earlier about volunteers, so keep an eye out for that.
And I'll
For
say
next
too,
week.
it's like that. Like this is a critique. It definitely, I don't think, impacted it that much.
Right.
So everyone was able to make their points, perfectly well. I don't think it was really a hindrance at all. It's just one of those things where like it would have been nice if,
Right.
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 So
But yeah, we're going to be looking for a lot more volunteers next year and
Yep.
stuff like that. Hopefully, I can actually go to some panels.
I know,
and,
right?
Lean into the things that worked and maybe dial things back that didn't work.
There's
or
a
try
lot of
different
vendors who are
angle.
coming next year.
Yeah,
Coming
and,
back. A lot of them were super happy.
And that's the other thing too. Is
said
it's
Legacy
like,
Toys had a pretty solid day.
Oh
They
yeah,
had a
so
solid
Legacy
day,
Toys,
yeah.
they
Amazing store, by the way, in the mall.
oh my gosh,
Oh.
I know.
So like they there was like a kid walking around with like a giant dragon plushie type thing that he bought from Legacy Toys and just clutching it with a big smile on his face. I had all the people that were smiling after VR, and it was just so cool to see how many people. There was a lot of smiles and a lot of happiness going on.
Well, so you back to Legacy Toys a little bit. I made another little friend today. There was a cute little girl dressed in this cute little Pikachu costume, just super cute. And I commented like when I was like, "I love your Pikachu costume." And so like from then on, whatever.
It's Pichu.
right?
Who's the ghost Pikachu?
Oh, Mimikyu.
Mimikyu. Oh, that's Mimikyu.
Mimikyu is
Right,
one of my
seriously.
favorite Pokemon.
Oh, and to get back to that story too. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, so this little Pikachu girl, like I just made the one comment. She kept coming up to me and like smiling. She's like, "Can I give you a hug?" I was like, "Oh, okay, sure." And then she went to Legacy Toys, and I was watching coat check for a couple seconds for someone, and she came up to the coat check and she was like, "Here," and she had got me this little squishy llama thing, and she was like, "It looks like Chewbacca." I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Oh, that's adorable.
Like
That
just
is
the
adorable.
cutest. Oh my gosh, she was so sweet. But she had these cute little glittery stickers on her cheek, the Pikachu cheeks. But then, okay, so the story, little Adeline girl, right? I messed up who she was, right? She wasn't Sailor Moon, she was Toga.
Yes.
So today, I was dressed as Ahsoka. I run into Dad and Adeline again. And he's like, "Oh, your shock tea is awesome."
Oh!
I was like,
There you go.
actually Ahsoka, but it's okay.
I mean, props for being in the right universe
Right.
anyway.
Well,
Right.
he was actually embarrassed. He's like, "Oh, I should have known. Shock T's got the long robes and the long laku." He was like, "I should have known you were Ahsoka. I can't believe I did that. My nerd self is like really mad right now."
She's like, you should watch this music video.
Yeah, right.
I told him, I was like, honestly, I called her Sailor Moon last night. We're
good.
even.
We're even. So, well, I think, that was, like our summary of DuluCon 2019. It was an excellent one in the books. I am just so proud and happy of the way that the event turned out. We were talking about just sponsors in general. I mean, they help fund the event
They
up
did.
front. You got to reach out to them, and then they help get it going and started. So it's like you want to deliver
Yep.
a minimum amount of quality and acceptable, turnout and everything like that. And we were able to do that, and we had a lot of happy vendors. But really, 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 I want to thank all the attendees, everyone who showed up, because you guys made it an amazing convention, and it was so cool. And I hoped we have this convention in Duluth for years to come.
Absolutely.
Me too.
Because it's so cool. We had the best things for me, the best things I heard were people who came up and they told you, Kara, I had somebody tell me that we had a guy, it was from Bemidji, and then his girlfriend was in Grand Rapids, and then they were able to be at the con together, and they didn't have to go to Minneapolis or Chicago or fly and go a long distance.
Right.
We had a comment on Facebook that girls never been to a con before. So it was people's first convention.
There were a lot of people. It was their first. And I was like, really? I was like, dang. Well, I hope we gave you a good impression on what a con is. And everybody loved it. They're super excited for next year. And
it just goes to show that there is a demand for this type of stuff, and it's awesome to represent the demographic of people that we love, people who are into everything. And that's we got to up our anime game and some of our character games, because it's amazing what you don't know. But it was really cool to make all the connections and all the friends this year. So
yeah, it was great. So, like, comment, subscribe.
All right. Yeah. Well, yeah, man, it's hard to follow up that sentiment with this, but it's like,
know.
if you guys like this video, I know we just sort of talked about a convention that you may not have gone to, but we
you
hope that
should
you're
come to.
Yeah, we hope that you're as excited about it as we were, or just get to your local cons. It's there's a lot more out there than I think people realize. People always hear about Comic-Con and stuff like that, the really just outrageously big ones. But there's 3 or 4 conventions just down in Minneapolis a year too. It's stuff like that. So it's if this is something that you're interested in, just a little bit of cursory research, and it's relatively affordable. The communities are generally pretty positive because
they're awesome.
You're a bunch of like-minded people going to celebrate the things that you love. So get out there, share your appreciation with the rest of the community, make some new friends. It's a great time. And we'll have a great time. If you like this video, comment below with your favorite convention experience. Anywhere that you've been to or you had a great experience, we want to hear about it. Maybe it'll help us guide the way that we take DuluCon in the future. If you want to see more of what we're making, subscribe. You'll be able to come back, check out all the stuff that we're doing. Ring the notification bell. If you really like what we're up to, you'll get notified of everything that we upload. It means a lot to us. It shows that you really care about what we're doing here and you want to see us make more. And of course,
May the force be with you.